Welcome to the second part of our times 6 facts. And the second part, you'll notice that actually there's only 2 6 facts that we need to learn on this video. We learned all of our even 6 using the even 6 trick in our last video. And if you look at the odds or the 2-digit numbers, we're going to be using the other tricks to find those. So for 6 times 1, you're going to use your 1's trick. For 6 times 5, you're going to use your 5's trick. For 6 times 9, you're going to use your 9, and so forth for 10, 11, and 12. So the only 2 other 6 facts that you need to learn are 6 times 3 and 6 times 7. Now those are definitely 2 challenging facts. I will tell you the way that I teach them. We're going to start off with actually 6 times 7. The way I teach 6 times 7 is by teaching students that 6, 7, 4, 2 is my combination lock to my treasure box. And as we learn multiplication facts, they can get rewards for getting good grades on their tests or doing well with their multiplication facts. But before they can ever get into the treasure box, they have to give me my secret code, which is 6742. So even if they get 100 on their test and they're able to get a prize, if they don't know 6742, they're going to have to wait till their next 100 to get into the treasure box. So they're motivated to learn my secret code. So the secret code is 6742, and they learn this really fast because they want to get into that treasure box. So throughout all of your lessons, you talk about 6742 so that they learn the secret code. And at any point they can ask you, what is the secret code again? 6742. The only time they can't ask you is right before they need to use it. Now, why do we teach the secret code 6742? Well, that's because that is the answer to the multiplication fact 6 times 7, which is one of the more challenging facts that students have to learn. So 6 times 7 is equal to 42. And so they remember 6742. They remember that 6 times 7 is 42. So that's how we remember that particular fact. Now, to me, the hardest fact out of all facts is 6 times 3, because I don't really have a great trick for teaching 6 times 3. But I'll show you what we do. Let's get a whole new page for this. You might not have learned this yet, depending on which order you do these facts. But 3 times 3 isn't really hard for students to learn, because 3 times 3, you just count by 3, and some students might be able to count by 3s farther, and if you can count by 3s all the way to 6, that's another way to get 3 times 6. But most students can count by 3s at least 3 times. So we can count by 3s. We can go 3, 6, 9. And that tells us the answer to 3 times 3. But, of course, we're not doing 3 times 3 right now. We're doing 3 times 6. So how does 3 times 6 and 3 times 3 relate to each other? Well, 3 times 3 is the same. It's a 3 fact. So you can see we're doing a 3 fact here. But if you double 3, you get 6. So in order to get the answer to 3 times 6, you would have to do the same action. Since you doubled 3 here to get 6, you double 9 to get your answer here, 18. So 3 times 6 is 18. So you use 3 times 3 as a helper fact in order to find 3 times 6. Or you can learn to count by 3s. And you can go 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. And usually I put down little dots just like that in that pattern, because it's a real good pattern to do for 6 to help me count by 3s to get to 18. Or you can make it one of those facts that you just memorize. And there's not very many that we're going to have to just memorize. So if you can memorize one fact, then that could be another way to solve it. That concludes this session.